Welcome back, friends. Before we get into today's lesson, let me just say, pull up a chair, get comfortable, and let's talk for a little while about the future, about goals, about the person you're becoming. This is the kind of talk you'll want to sit with, maybe even come back to more than once. So let's get started. The promise of the future, now that's a powerful thing. We look back on our lives for experience, sure, but we've got to look forward for inspiration. And what is it that gets us up in the morning, ready to go to work, ready to learn a new skill, ready to develop everything we're capable of becoming? It's the promise of the future. And let me tell you, that promise, when it's strong enough, can outweigh any adversary you'll ever face, any difficulty that comes your way. Here's a phrase I want you to remember. Reasons make the difference. Reasons are what fuel your appetite, your zest, your hunger to take on the challenge, to do the job, to become successful. You can overcome almost any obstacle in this life if you've got enough reasons to overcome it. There's an old saying, goes back a long way. It says, if you try to save your life, you'll lose it. But if you're willing to lose your life, meaning if you're willing to invest it, pour it out, spend it on something bigger than yourself, well, that's the surest way to save it and multiply it many times over. So here's the phrase I want you to write down. Investing life into life has the potential to create miracles. You invest life into life, and sometimes you get a brand new baby. But you invest life into life through ideas, through information, through relationships, through influence, and you can create a whole enterprise. You can build a company. You can start a movement. You can create something that reaches far more people than the handful who first poured their lives into each other. So make a note of this. You never know who's sitting in the room with you. You don't know who's out there in that crowd who's going to go on and change the world, do something extraordinary with their life. So here's what you must always do, no matter what. Be sincere. Give your best. Every single time, no matter who you're talking to, because you just never know. You don't know who's ready to receive what you've got to say, or when the timing is finally right for them to hear it. Jot this down too. It takes more than one voice to help us see clearly, to help us think things through, to help us make good decisions, to help us weigh our options properly. It takes a whole variety of personalities, a variety of messages, a variety of points of view, and the weight of real experience behind them. When wisdom comes to you from several different sources, and you add it all up, it becomes something truly valuable. Now let's talk about setting goals. I remember when I first met a man named Earl Schoaf. Not long after we got to know each other, he looked at me and said, "Maybe here's one of the best ways I can help you. Let me see your current list of goals, and let's sit down and go over them together. I've got the experience, and I'd like to help." And I looked at him and I said, "I don't have a list." And he said, "Well, if you don't have a list of goals, I can guess your bank balance within a few $100s. And you know what? He did it. He guessed it almost exactly. And I thought, isn't that something? Then I said to him, "You mean if I had a list of goals, it would change my bank balance?" And he said, "Drastically." That got my attention real quick. And from that day forward, all those years ago, I started learning how to set goals properly. Now, we're all primarily shaped by 5 things. Number 1 is our environment. The political climate around us, the social climate, the physical surroundings. Whatever surrounds us affects us, whether it's the city or the countryside, the small village or the busy office, the people we cross paths with every day. We're constantly being shaped by how we react and how we make decisions, and a great deal of that depends on our environment. And when it comes to the physical environment, we all need to do our part. Make whatever contribution you can. It's a small planet we're living on, remember. Remember those first photographs taken from space, looking back at the Earth. It looked so small, so fragile. And we all thought, look how many people call this place home. How is that possible? We've got to take care of this place. Right now, it's the only planet we've got, so let's do everything within our power. My mother taught me little lessons like this early on. Pick up after yourself. Don't leave your trash lying around. I remember once at a little cafe, I unwrapped a toothpick and just dropped the small piece of cellophane right there on the floor. My mother looked at me and said, "No, no, you wouldn't do that at home." And I thought, well, huh. She said, "Just put it in your pocket, and when you get home, throw it away properly." And somebody might say, well, what real difference does one little piece of cellophane make? Here's the difference it makes: the habit. And that habit matters most for you personally. Yes, it's a small contribution to not leaving trash behind, but here's what it really does. It gives you an incredible sense of self-worth because you're the kind of person who keeps good habits. That's really the heart of it. Think about the habit of turning off the lights when you leave a hotel room. That's a small contribution, sure, but imagine if everybody did it. The energy saved would be enormous. Someone might say, well, the hotel gets the benefit. But here's the truth. It doesn't matter who benefits. The greatest benefit is becoming a person with strong, worthy habits. Habits that don't just improve your skills, but habits that make you feel good about who you are. If something is easy to do and it makes a positive contribution, why wouldn't you do it? Who knows what the total impact could be if we all did our small part? And even if not everyone joins in, if you do it, and I do it, it simply makes us better human beings. It makes us feel better about ourselves. And when I see you doing it, it makes me think better of you. And when you see me doing it, I imagine it does the same for you. Now, here are two excellent questions I want you to write down. These are questions for mature, serious thinkers, because they're not always easy to answer, especially the first one. Here it is. What has got you turned on? Make a real list. Write down everything that lights you up, everything that gets you up early, keeps you up late, pushes you to use your abilities to their fullest all day long. Write that whole list out. Now here's the second question. What has got you turned off? Why is it that you're missing the zest, the vitality, the daily appetite for accomplishment? I started making my own list of the things dragging me down, and once I had that sorted, and then made a second list of what truly excited me, both now and in the future, I'm telling you, my life was never the same again. It felt like a revolution, a personal, complete turnaround. I can't stress this enough. It's so easy to get lazy about designing your day, your year, your future, what you truly want to accomplish. It's easy to just cross your fingers and hope the winds blow favorably in your direction. But I promise you, that's not how it works. Hope alone will not build the life you want. Now here's the next exercise, and it will only take a little bit of your time. The question is simply, why? Why do the goals on your list actually matter to you? Write this down. When your why grows stronger, your how becomes easier. When your why becomes big, powerful, deeply felt, the how starts falling into place almost naturally. But without a strong enough why, the how can feel nearly impossible. People ask me, how do you manage your time? Well, if your goals are strong and powerful enough, you'll figure out how to manage your time. You'll pick up a book on the subject. You'll take whatever steps necessary to manage it well, if it truly matters to you. But if it doesn't matter, why would you even bother studying the art of managing your time? If it really matters, though, in relation to your goals and your reasons for chasing them, you can do almost anything. You can wake up early, read any book, take any class, make any change, build any skill, commit to any discipline. You can do it all, once the why grows strong enough that the how becomes simple. Let me give you a small example. Say one of your goals is a beautiful home on a hill overlooking a valley. That's a fine goal, a wonderful goal even. But here's the next question you need to ask. What for? A house, after all, is just bricks, wood, walls, and a roof. That home would be wonderful, yes, but what is it truly for? So write this down. Purpose is stronger than object. The object, the house itself, will certainly pull you forward, and that's a worthy goal on its own. But the real strength lies in the purpose behind that home. Maybe it becomes the gathering place for your whole family, filled with interesting people coming and going, full of influence and meaningful moments happening under that roof. Now we're really getting somewhere. That, to me, is one of the most important lines from this whole lesson. Purpose is stronger than object. It's perfectly fine to have plenty of objects on your goal list, but always keep asking yourself the deeper question behind them. Sometimes it helps to write it all out plainly. Here's why I want this money. Here's why I want this home. Here's why. And as you build out those reasons, something powerful starts to happen. It becomes genuinely transformative. Some of your goals should focus on personal development, on the kind of person you wish to become. Develop skills that make you attractive to the marketplace. Develop the temperament and attitude that make you attractive to the world of business. Develop the temperament that makes you a wonderful parent, studying that art the same way you'd study any craft. Because here's the important truth. It's not what you acquire that makes you valuable. It's who you become that makes you valuable. I have said this publicly, year after year, for close to 4 decades now. It's the person you become that matters most. The idea of becoming a genuinely attractive person, a skillful person, a good friend, a good colleague, a good partner, a valuable member of any table you sit at, a real contributor. That's the key. Who you become. This idea changed the whole course of my life. Took me from milking cows on a farm to sitting here talking with you now. What a journey that's been. And part of that journey began the day I met Earl Schoaf, and he asked me a simple question. Do you have a list of goals? And I said no. And he said, then I can guess your bank balance. That moment stopped me in my tracks. I began studying the art of goal setting seriously after that, and it changed the whole trajectory of my life. Now I want you to sit with this question for a moment. What kind of person must I become to achieve everything I want? Take some real time to write that down, because what you become helps you achieve, and what you achieve helps shape who you become. The more you become, the more you're able to achieve, and the more you achieve, the more you're able to become. It's hard to say which influences the other more strongly. Let's be honest with each other for a moment. Maybe you need to grow wiser than you are today. Maybe you need to build more strength, better health. Maybe you need some guidance, some coaching to become the person you're aiming to be, whether that's physical coaching, spiritual guidance, or simply developing skills you don't yet have. To become the kind of influence you want to be in this world, you have to build a genuinely strong reputation. Ask yourself, what kind of person must I become to attract everything I want, the people, the opportunities, the life I'm after? When opportunity finally knocks and the door swings open, you need to be standing there as someone worth inviting in, or you might not get the invitation at all. There's an old and remarkable phrase I've always admired. It says, I stand at the door and knock. Think about that. If someone truly extraordinary knocked on your door, wouldn't you invite them in? Of course you would. And the promise is, if you open that door, that presence will come in, sit with you, and talk things through. So the real question becomes, are you the kind of person that, when opportunity knocks and the door swings open, opportunity itself would say, come right in? Take this next part seriously. The key is to put everything down on paper, take it out of your head, and commit it to a real list. You can dream all day long about what you want, but the moment you start writing it down, it becomes formalized. It becomes a real, tangible idea. And ideas, once written down and pursued, can become hotels. They can become entire enterprises. They can become a remarkable career. We need the information. We need the inspiration, but eventually you have to learn to put everything onto your list. And here's something important to remember. If something on your list stops mattering to you, take it off. You don't have to accomplish every single item. If you had 100 goals written down and accomplished 80 of them, who really cares about the remaining 20? If you achieved the majority of what you set out to do, wouldn't that be more than enough? I believe the honest answer is yes, and it would be a genuinely remarkable outcome. So feel free to rearrange your list, change it, tear it up, and start fresh if you need to. You might look back and realize this mattered so much to me last year, and now, with everything I've learned in the past 12 months, it just doesn't hold the same weight anymore. That's perfectly natural. Your goals should evolve as you do. There are two wonderful old words I believe everyone should learn. One is positive, and one carries a warning. Here's the positive one. Behold. Behold the possibilities in front of you. Behold the opportunity waiting to be seized. Behold the future, and take the time to design it intentionally. Behold the chances you've been given. Behold, spring has arrived. Behold, the sun is shining today and the shadows are fading away. Behold, the very next person you meet might become a lifelong friend. Behold, the next person you meet might become a lifelong colleague. That's the beauty of the word behold. Now here's the word of caution. Beware. And I want to give you a sentence worth writing down because it's genuinely valuable. Beware of what you become while chasing what you want. Throughout our whole lives, we have to hold both of these words together. Behold and beware. Think about a young person heading off to school for the first time. It's behold the opportunity ahead of them and beware the dangers along the way. Behold and beware, always walking hand in hand. So beware of who you become in pursuit of what you want. There were things early in my own life that I chased so hard, I became so obsessed with certain pursuits that later I realized the price I paid was simply too high. If I had known better at the time, I never would have paid that price. But sometimes, we only learn after the fact, after we've already paid it. So don't allow yourself to become so consumed by a goal that you lose your sense of reason, or that it costs you real friendships. Don't let ambition push you into compromising your own values and virtues. Here's a phrase worth remembering. The greatest source of unhappiness is unhappiness with yourself. It rarely comes from the outside. The deepest, most devastating unhappiness comes from within, from being unhappy with who you are. Now, a small amount of that kind of unhappiness can actually be constructive, pushing you toward growth. But when it becomes overwhelming, it turns destructive instead. It's a bit like worry. A little worry is healthy, keeps us alert, but we shouldn't let it take over our lives. If you're standing on a busy street corner about to step off the curb and a taxi is barreling toward you, that's exactly the moment a little worry serves you well, enough to pull your feet back onto the sidewalk before you get hurt. Call it caution, but not excessive caution. Call it healthy concern, not the kind of worry that consumes you or destroys your peace. The same is true for something like hate. You don't need to hate your job. Save your strong feelings for things truly worth opposing, real injustice, the weeds that choke a garden, the harmful ideas that try to pull your children in the wrong direction. You don't need to walk around hating everything, saying, I hate this, I hate that. That's a misuse of a powerful emotion. Save it for the things genuinely worth standing against. And now, let me leave you with this. If you commit yourself to this journey, being thoughtful, deliberate, and diligent about setting goals for your day, your month, your year, for your family, for yourself, for your business, and for the people you work alongside, if you begin thinking seriously about the future, here's what you'll become. Not just someone who contributes to their own success, but someone who becomes a real, meaningful contributor to the lives of others too. And friends, that's really the whole point of all of this, isn't it? Not just building a good life for yourself, but becoming someone whose life adds real value to everyone around you. Let me add one more thought before we close, because I think it ties everything together. So many people wait for permission to start designing their future. They wait for the right moment, the right amount of money, the right circumstances. But I'll tell you what I've learned over a long life of watching people succeed and watching people struggle. The right moment is rarely handed to you. You have to build it yourself, out of the habits you keep, the reasons you hold on to, and the goals you're willing to write down in black and white. Don't wait until January 1st to start a new list. Don't wait until Monday morning to start turning off the lights when you leave a room or picking up the little pieces of trash nobody else notices. Don't wait until you feel fully ready to ask yourself the hard question, what kind of person must I become? Start today, in whatever small way you can manage. Small disciplines, repeated daily, eventually turn into something remarkable. A single toothpick wrapper in your pocket won't change the world by itself, but the habit behind it will change you. And that changed person is the one who ends up building the enterprise, raising the family, leading the movement, becoming the influence. So here's my challenge to you as we wrap up today. Take out a sheet of paper this week, not tomorrow, not next month, this week, and write down what's got you turned on. Then write down what's got you turned off. Sit with both lists honestly. Then start asking why, again and again, until the reasons feel strong enough to carry you through the hard days. Remember, purpose is always stronger than the object itself. Behold the possibilities in front of you, and beware of what you might become while chasing them. Hold both of those words close, because a life well lived needs both the vision to reach forward and the wisdom to guard your character along the way. I've shared a lot with you today, and I hope some part of it lands right where you need it most. So take these ideas, sit with them, write down your own list, ask yourself your own why, and start walking toward the person you're capable of becoming. Thank you for spending this time with me today, and I'll look forward to talking with you again soon.